Well, good morning. Sue Hutchins here again with Iowa Prison Perspectives. As some of you know who have been here before, but for those of you who haven't been here before, let me introduce myself and what this is about. As I said, I'm Sue Hutchins, and this particular YouTube channel is a collaboration between Living Beyond the Bars of Iowa, Iowa Justice Action Network, and Iowa Cure. The purpose of this particular channel is to inform you, the public, about prison in Iowa and surrounding states, specifically Iowa, but some people who have spoken here are from surrounding states because some of you have asked to hear what goes on in other states. To inform you about what goes on in prison, what prison is really like. So I'm interviewing people who have been incarcerated, people who love someone who's incarcerated or has been incarcerated, people who have worked in the prison system, people who are involved in reentry when people come out of prison, and advocates for people to get out of prison. So it's an array of people. It's an array of people. And I really want to hear from you. I want to hear your comments. I want to hear if you agree with what I'm doing, if you don't agree with what I'm doing, what you really think about this. My goal, as I said, is information and feedback from you. I believe that Iowa needs more information and more education in the public about what prison is actually like. So, welcome to today's session. I think that we're fortunate every time that we have someone who is willing to come on and tell their story who has been incarcerated. Today, we are fortunate to have a young man whose name is Dante. He was in the documentary entitled Just Us, which was produced by Cedric Theus, who's currently incarcerated, and his co producer, Maya Ben Sahara. And if you've watched that particular interview, it was done earlier this week, then you actually got to listen to Ced and to Maya about that particular documentary and about what prison has been like for Ced. So Dante was kind enough at the time to be in that particular documentary. And today he has graciously said that he is willing to tell you his story to inform you. So I'm going to turn it over to Dante and he will let us know whatever his experience in prison has been like. So, Dante, it's all yours.
Thank you very much. My name is Dante McKenzie, and I committed my crime August the 1st of 1989. I was involved in a fight. Uh, I was with a female, and things transpired, and the gentleman passed away. Uh, a knife was used, something that I regret to this day. Uh, the thing about prison, it simply boils down to this: when you enter into prison, you're alone. You don't have any family, friends. At least I didn't because I'm not from Iowa. But you have to start figuring things out because once you're around other people who have been through the system many times, they start to tell you your faults. They're, I was younger. So they start pointing things out. And at the time that I went to jail, I couldn't really read. I was, illiterate. Uh, I was kicked out of high school at in the ninth grade. So once I did get to prison, after going from the jail, I did 6 months in jail. Then I went to Oakdale, which is in Corville, like Cedric spoke about when him and Maya was talking to you. Went through there. They kept me there for a while because I was young, and at the time it was co-ed. We were with females as well. So if we went to the gym or we went to eat or we went to the library or school, we were around females. Well, uh, from there, I went to Fort Madison. My first day at Fort Madison, I remember a gentleman telling me, and he was the security director. and he
Mhm.
explained prison to me. And he says, while you're here, you can spend your time of 75 years. That's why I accumulated in my crime because I pled guilty to second degree murder and attempted murder. And the only reason that I pled guilty because in my heart I felt like at the time it was self defense. You
Mhm.
know, I was 18 years old, and the guy, I believe he was either 36 or 38 years old. I never knew him, never seen him in my life. But they told me, they said, either you could go to GP or you could go to uh, protective custody. So I was like, well, what's the difference? So they were like, well, general population is where all the inmates are. Everybody who's committed a crime from yours down, or they explained that, and then they said that protective custody is where we keep you protected. You're mostly in your cell. Nobody's really around you except for other people that feel like they need to be protected. So I was like, well, I don't feel like I need to be protected. I want to go to GP. I got to be here. I got to live here for years.
Mhm.
So the guy told me, he says, one thing I want you to understand about yourself. He said, you're 19 years old now, and you have a reading level of a sixth grader.
Yeah.
He says, a matter of fact, a fifth grader. You understand that? And it made me feel that small.
Oh.
It felt like the world just closed me in a box when he said that. Just my feelings.
Mhm.
So I told myself that day, I said, well, I really want to do something about that. And I said it to him, and he says, well, you're welcome to go to school. We're not going to make you. We have opportunities where you can educate yourself, and you can get some treatment, but it's up to you. We're not going to make you do anything. Only thing we ask you to do is to stay out of trouble. Don't get involved in the gangs. Don't get involved in prison politics, and don't get involved in sexual uh, activity.
Mhm.
So I instantly, from that day of being told that, I wanted to go to school, and I went to school.
Mhm.
And between getting my GED, uh, I spent about 4 years trying to get my GED because I got into a couple of fights,
Mhm.
which they told me that uh, before I took my plea. They explained everything to me. Let me back up to the plea deal.
Okay.
This is what I was told. You're facing first degree murder.
Yeah.
First degree murder in Iowa
Life.
means that you'll never get out again. As a matter of fact, they said, let me sum it up to you. The next time your mom sees you, if she's alive, you'll have a tag on your toe
Oh my
and you'll
God.
be in a body bag. And they said, we're offering you this deal because we feel like you could be, you could come out and be an example. We understand that your mom shot your dad when you were like 7 years old. You grew up in a house of violence. So we're willing to give you a chance because if you go to trial, the only thing that the jury is going to see is a black man, not a boy,
Mhm.
stabbing a white man, and you're done.
Mhm.
They said, we're not trying to scare you or anything, but understand this.
Reality.
Iowa is a very racist state.
Mhm.
And I come from Kentucky. And I had never experienced, anything like that. You
Like
know what I
that.
mean? And of course, I was naive to a lot of things because in my older age, I've been told certain things about people that was actually racist, but I
Mhm.
didn't see them like that,
Mhm.
you know? So in the process of them explaining to me about the 75 years, they told me you would do anywhere from 7 to 18 to 19 years. 7 if you go in there and educate yourself and get some treatment, and
Mhm.
they feel like that you're going to come and be a positive example, to to
Mhm.
society. They said, but we don't think you're just going to do 7 years. You're going to do until you're about 38 years old. They told me that at
Mm.
18.
At 18.
At 18, they said by the time you get out, you'll be about 38 years old, maybe 39. And I had to sit in there and dwell in that thought.
Yes.
Like, wow, I had been in trouble before that. I've been to a couple of we called them boys homes back then, like detention centers. And
Mhm.
each time I went, I would learn something new, and I would take it back with me. But going back to the same neighborhood, the same town,
Yes.
I found myself right back in the mix,
Mhm.
you know. And it's no excuses. It was just, my growing pains, and I know this now at 54 years old.
Yeah. Yes.
But uh as far as being locked up, my first day I was placed in a cell. I was given two sheets, a pillowcase, a Bible, a book, toothpaste, deodorant, a comb, uh, and that's really it. And a
Mhm.
mattress, and I'm
It's about
around all
that
of these
thick.
guys.
A mattress that's about that thick.
No, I wouldn't have tolerated that. See,
Okay.
no, the mattress was I say about 3 or 4 inches. And as far as like racial disparity or uh, any type of racial
Mhm.
motivated incidents in prison or the staff treating me different because I was black, never. I never experienced that. They were more helpful than anything.
That's
They
fair.
seemed more shocked that I was in prison than anything because I had a lot of talent.
Mhm.
Before I went to prison, I was a break dancer.
Oh.
And there's a segment on YouTube that shows me dancing back in 1988. And I was actually living with, if you're familiar with an actress, Meryl Streep,
Yes.
I was actually living with her brother, Harry Streep.
Oh
And
my.
his wife was playing on The Guiding Light as Vanessa back
Mhm.
then. It was a
Okay.
soap opera.
Okay.
But I never experienced anything like racist or anything. I did experience one time where the prison officials accused me of being a gangbanger. And I was like, I didn't grow up like that. I wasn't
Mhm.
raised like that. I didn't come from anything like that. Well, the way that you cut your hair, that's gang affiliated. And I
Mm.
told him, I don't know where you're getting your information from because I would speak up for myself,
Mhm.
but I would tell him, I don't know where you get your information from, but this hairstyle is from the New Editions. It's like a R&B group that sings. I'm just copying that. But
Mhm.
other guys that see me with the haircut, because I was new. I lived in New York. I lived in Philly and all of that. So, I had different what they would call swag about me.
Sure.
So people would copy that. So they try to say that we were in a gang. Well, we
Mhm.
took them to court and we sued them and proved that we wasn't a gang. That was the only thing that somebody could say was racist. I don't see it that way. What I
Mhm.
see it is they see something coming together. They didn't understand it and they put a
Yeah.
label on it. I'm
Mhm.
not quick to use the race card.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Now, if it is what it is, yes, it's that.
Mhm.
But I try to, see things on a different perspective and kind of like understand other people's positions.
Yes.
And I always wasn't like that, but when I get just if you was a prison guard in prison and I came up to you or whatever, and I seen you was kind of you know, like just kind of shrug or kind of like, get away from me or whatever, I
Mhm.
would instantly tell you, like, listen, I'm here to learn. Yes, I made a crucial mistake and I'm sorry about that. But I don't care how Jim, John, or Bill treated you over the years. Treat me like an individual. I'm going to
Mhm.
always respect you.
Mhm.
Don't treat me like I'm just some throwaway. That's how I would talk to the correctional officers. Like, I'm really trying to learn. And they
Mhm.
would be like, no, you're trying to manipulate. And I'm like, what's that?
Yeah.
I didn't even know the word manipulate. You know what I mean? Like, but through it all, this is what prison done for me. I got my high school diploma.
Yes.
I got a diploma in upholstery
Mhm.
so I can fix things.
Yep.
I dealt with my anger by taking anger management classes.
Mhm.
I dealt with my stress by taking stress management classes.
Mhm.
Because if a person thinks that a criminal doesn't become stressed and start to lose their mind, you can't even imagine.
Yeah.
I also learned how to talk to people through
Oh,
social skills training.
yes.
I never had a drug habit, and I asked to get into drug treatment, and they wouldn't let me. And I told them, hey, I would at least like to be around people that's been experiencing that, so I don't succumb to that type of
Yeah.
behavior. I've never been a drinker, so I went through Project T. That was one of the steps to getting drug treatment.
Uh-huh.
I have two of those. This is what really changed it for me,
Okay.
and I want to say this: my heart goes out to each and every victim that was ever victimized in this world.
Mm. Mhm.
I am so sorry for your misfortune. This
Mhm.
is what changed.
Victim impact. Yes.
When I went through this class,
Mhm.
it 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 gave me an understanding that I wasn't the victim, and victims suffer. Victims have feelings.
Mhm.
Victims think about things, and a person's actions towards a victim is like a ripple effect. It doesn't only hurt the victim; it hurts the victim's family. It hurts whoever
Yes.
cares about the victim. It hurts me, whoever cares about me.
Mhm.
So it's a variety of things that come from an action,
Mhm.
especially an adolescent action.
Mhm.
So in correcting my thoughts and correcting
Mhm.
my beliefs, because you
Mhm.
can punish somebody forever and ever. You can forget about them and throw away the key.
Mhm.
That don't get me wrong, but to me, that's not caring. If you could get that person to change the way that they believe, you'll
Mhm.
get better actions.
Right.
And that's what I did. I changed my way through corrective
Mhm.
thinking.
Yes.
And I used it to cure myself. I didn't just sit in class and say, oh, I got a certificate. No, I got the details of it. I asked questions. I made notes of everything that I ever done because I had promised my mom when I was in the county jail before I even accepted a plea. And she had sold her house. And I believe I mentioned that in Just Us to try to
Mhm.
get me a lawyer.
Yes.
I didn't take 1 cent of that money.
Mhm.
I couldn't believe she did that. It wasn't like, yeah, mom, give me the money. Yeah, get me out of here. I made my bed. I have to sleep in it.
Mhm.
And I learned those words from the convicts that were in jail with me. You made your bed, you got to sleep in it.
Mhm.
But what are you going to do? You know, are you going to grow and develop into a better person? Or are you going to become the system? And I've
Right.
had staff ask me that too.
Mhm.
Like I get into a fight or so, what are you going to do? You want to be in here forever?
Mhm.
You have a life, man. You can do it. You work hard in here. You got like what? You work in the kitchen, you're a janitor, you train
Mhm,
dogs, you
mhm,
talk to kids, because they allowed us to. We had a group where it was called Project Reality, and it was like six of us. I was the only one that didn't have life that was allowed to talk to the kids, and they
mhm,
did that because they wanted to see me out of the gangs. Because I had said, forget it. Y'all want to call me a gang member? Adolescent, I'm gonna start rolling with the gang in here.
mhm,
But then once I seen how things were how things were done, I was like, this ain't for me. I came in here by myself. I want to leave by myself,
mhm,
But when you hear gang, it's not people that look to rob people, murder people, or anything like that. I used to rotate with the gangster disciples, and their whole thing was you have to be a man. You don't steal, you don't rob, you don't kill, you study, you educate yourself, you help those in your community, white or black, Mexican or whatever. You show no favoritism, but you're not put here to harm. You put here to educate. Put here to share your experiences so the next person don't fall in the hole that you did. And that's honestly speaking. That's what I learned from those guys, you know. And as far as like living in a cell, imagine going in your restroom and sitting there and reading a book for 30 days and coming out for 1 hour at a time for a year.
mhm.
How many people you think can live like that
Right, right.
without having a mental breakdown?
Exactly. It certainly does something to your psychology. It's
But
trauma.
it's also mind over the matter.
Right.
It always is. But the more education that you have on your brain, you can help things. Here's another certificate of some more corrective thinking. So I have two of those.
Mhm,
I started to discover like, man, I could get out and have a job and how am I even gonna like get a job? So I went through the process of 9 to 5, how to fill out
mhm,
an application, how to conduct an interview, how to dress, how
mhm,
to properly sit, how to properly talk.
mhm.
And not only that, I was like, I didn't consider myself what they called me, but I became a mentor to help the guys that were in there, the fathers and the sons and the grandfathers that had mental problems. So I was able to say, hey, you're acting up. Come on, come with me. Let me go buy you ice cream or something. Calm down. Let's talk. What's bothering you? Some things made sense, some things didn't make sense, but we were able to make sense out of it where there were no more victims, because that's the whole thing. When you go to prison, you learn not to victimize,
Yeah.
whether it's words, actions, or your deeds. Some people get it, some people don't.
Mhm,
Some people come out wanting to be successful and showing what they learn. Some people come out and show, hey, this is how mean prison has made me.
mhm,
And they usually go right back in, or
mhm.
somebody makes a victim out of them,
Right.
you know. And but my whole experience as far as like being locked up, it was just educational for me. Uh and I didn't never want to be a burden on any of my family, so I made my mother promise me that she would not tell a soul where I was. Because a lot
Oh,
of people thought that I was a stiller dancer, but I didn't care. I also didn't uh, realize the effect that it would have on my kids. I have two kids that I don't even, I've tried to talk to them. I tried to say, hey, come get to know me for who I am today.
Mhm.
Uh, I haven't seen my son since he was 3. Yes, I get pictures. Yes, I have grandkids, and they wish to live their life, which is fine. I had to tell myself, okay, it's mind over matter. Does it hurt? Yeah. But the thing is, I have become accustomed to being hurt over the years
Mhm.
of finding a female that wanted to come see me because she seen a picture of me from prison. I couldn't believe that. But, you know, they're not going to stick around for 10, 20 years. Some do, some don't.
Mhm.
So it's all about what that person wants once they place in that situation. And I desired to just be a better person, not only for myself, but for my mother. Because I
Mhm.
watched my mother suffer. And I've been told, she worried about me each day. Now that I know it was just a couple of people that she told about me being in prison, she worried about me. She didn't know if I was dead or alive, because I wouldn't really communicate. I never put my family on my list for like 7 to 10 years. I didn't want them to come see me. Plus, they live far away anyway. You know, I wasn't like just a selfish, give me, this is all about me type of person. I knew that, hey, I'm in this situation and I have to do what's best for me. And what was best for me was to educate myself and be able to function and be able to talk to people and being successful. But I will tell you this, I've experienced more racism outside of prison than I ever did inside 23
Inside.
years,
Mhm.
just working. And I'm a hard worker,
Yeah.
but it's like certain people don't want you there,
Mhm.
honestly. I'm sitting at home right now, laid off. And when I tell people that, they like, why, man, you're a
Why are
hard
you
worker.
laid off? Mhm.
You know, I work for the same company as my wife, and yes, she's a white female, but guess what? She's high up into on the ladder, and
Mhm.
she don't have half the experience that I do. But I'm not whining. I'm happy for her. Hey, I love it, but I see
Mhm.
it.
Yes. Yes.
I see it. It's in plain sight, and it's like, when I talk to people, I use manners. Like when I first talked to you, yes, ma'am, this
Yes.
man,
Yes.
and we got that straight. I'm the same way at work. It don't change.
Mhm.
I'm off parole, so I can do and I can say anything that I want to. You know, but I
Mhm.
just choose to be humble and have harmony. Not only harmony with other people, but I found harmony with myself
In yourself. Yes.
in
Which is the
prison.
most important thing. Yeah, that's the most important thing is to
Exactly.
live
So
inside your own skin. Mhm.
programs like anger management and all the certificates that I showed you, as well as Project Harmony, those things help me. Now that I'm hearing they don't have those things in prison anymore. So I feel blessed that I was able to get that because I'm gonna tell you, I would not be the same person that I am today if it was not for those certificates. I could say,
Mhm.
man, this stuff didn't do nothing for me. It was a waste of time. Y'all punish me. This, no, no. I'm a grown man, and I know that with the knowledge that I accumulated, I'm a better and I'm a happy person
Yeah.
within, and that's how I treat people.
Mhm.
Even before I got out of prison, I was seeking God.
Yes.
I asked the warden, "Hey, how am I going to get a job if I don't have any trade or skills?"
Yes.
Yes, I have the certificates to function mentally,
Mhm.
but I'm going to need something to, kind of
To
back me up.
do.
And a
Mhm.
warden brought in a professor, and they taught us asbestos, lead paint removal, deconstruction, and I'm in construction now,
Good for
and I
you.
love it.
Mhm.
You know, so when I see guys like Sid, who's a real good friend of mine, we talk quite often.
Mhm.
Uh, I was 18 years old, and I believe he was what 18 or something like
Yes,
that.
just turned
I don't know.
18. Yeah,
Okay,
just barely 18, yeah.
and I don't know if he had served any time in juvenile homes, but I had served 6 months in 6 months at a time in two juvenile homes.
Mhm.
You know, uh, had I not took that deal, which I wasn't, because
Right.
my adolescent mind was telling me, man, forget them. They
Mhm.
don't know what they're talking about. They're lying to you.
Right.
Instantly, I'm hearing this within myself, like, man, go to trial. This was self-defense, this and that. But once I seen uh they brought in a black lawyer, and he's real famous in Des Moines. I don't want to say famous, well known.
Mhm.
And he talked to me. And once he told me that I was a racist state and there's nothing that he could really do, take the deal. And once I told him no, I'm not taking the deal. I'm gonna go to trial. When I seen the tear come out of his eye, that's when I knew it was serious.
Mhm. That you'd
That's
do
when I
life.
took the deal.
Yep, that you would do life. Like
And
said is yes.
I would not be sitting here right now had,
Had you not taken that plea.
thank you. I would
Mhm.
still be in
In
prison
said's
right now.
position. Yeah. He said
Yes.
something on the interview, which I've heard him say before, but for some reason it really, really landed in me on the interview. He said, I'm not doing life for the crime I committed. I'm doing life because I didn't take the plea.
Yeah, that's facts. And you
Yeah,
can't hide that.
right. But
But
people
that's your
don't know that. It's really important for people to understand that because there's this belief in Iowa that have if you have committed a class A felony or are charged with a class A felony that life means life and there's no way out of that. People don't understand that you can take a plea and plea down or you
if
can
it's
be
over.
charged up or you can be charged up to life. And and so it doesn't necessarily mean that you that life means life. It doesn't mean what people think it means. I just think that's crucially important. That the whole idea of trial punishment is very, very real. Very real. And that's what a lot of lifers, I don't know how many, but a number of lifers are struggling with because they didn't take a plea. They didn't.
Hmm.
And so they're
And a
doing
lot of,
life
yes,
at
you know,
18 at 18 years old. And now they're 50 and 60 and 70 and 75. They've been in for 50 years.
and this is the thing too. It's
It's
like,
insane.
you know, you do all of that time and you grow older, right? You're not going to get any younger. So when you're offered a job and stuff, you learn that, okay, I got to build up to some type of retirement and all of that, but it's not going to be much once you do retire because all of those years that you worked in prison are not being counted. And you
Right.
know what? I did more harder jobs in prison and was happy to
Than
get
what
up every day to do them than I'm doing out here. You
they're doing now.
understand what I'm saying? So it's like
Mhm.
it's a it's a it's it's a mountain to climb, but also it's like this is not going to be easy. But one thing I told myself is, man, I'm not going to turn to the streets for nothing. I'm not going to be doing anything out of bounds to
Illegal.
forfeit my life
Mhm.
to
Exactly.
anybody's jail or prison.
Mhm.
I I owe it to myself, you know. And I had
Mhm.
told my mother in 1989, right before I took that deal, she told me, take care of yourself. I said, yeah, mom, this ain't gonna be 6 months. I'm gonna be gone a long time,
Mhm.
10, 20 years. I said, but when you see me, I said, I promise you, put my right hand up to the glass. And I said, I
Mhm,
promise you, the next time you see me, I'm gonna be a man. I'm gonna have a
yeah,
job. I'm gonna have a car. I'm gonna
mhm,
have a house, and I'm gonna have a wife. And I'm not gonna be gay or none of that. You don't have to
mhm,
worry about me doing any of that type of stuff in here. I said, but
mhm,
the next time you see me, I don't know how long it's gonna be, but when they give me my freedom, I'm gonna show you. I said,
yeah,
take care of yourself. Don't let no man beat on you,
yeah,
disrespect you. There's nothing I can do. Take care of
mhm,
my brothers and my little sister. And I said, and when I come home, and you'll be old and gray.
yes.
I said, when God calls you home, I promise you, I will send you home like Cinderella with a horse and carriage. And I did that.
Oh, yes. That's awesome. Bless
So
your heart.
that's me, my uncle, and my mom's dad. And me and my brothers and my sisters, that's what
Did
we
that.
did. We
Yes,
ordered that for her.
yes.
I think my
Bless
sister wanted to smack me in the face when I first told her. I said, mom's gonna uh mom's gonna be going. And when she does, I want a horse and carriage for her. And I said, I want you to look it up and find it. They don't have that here in Kentucky. You need to quit talking like that. Matter of fact, people talk crazy like that get shot in the face.
her.
I looked at my little sister and I said, well, I understand your feelings, but we have to deal with reality. If that happens, that's what I want for mom. I promised her that.
Mhm.
And we did it. My mom passed away three and a half years ago. And she made me promise that day when I told her that. She said, listen, do not come to my funeral in shackles and chains if
Yeah.
something happens to me. Do not come to my funeral. And I said, okay,
Mhm.
you know. So and I've been off paper since August. I've discharged. I was
Mhm.
on parole for 11 and a half years and
Congratulations.
successfully did what I was supposed to do, you know. Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank
Congratulations
you.
on everything that you've accomplished and the way you've turned your life around. And it sounds to me like the first thing that actually let you down was the school systems, the educational system. But you found that in prison through the programs in prison.
It wasn't the school that let me down. Nah. The schools did what they supposed to do. It's a lot of kids that educated themselves that are the same age as me. There's a few fellas that's the same age as me was able to go to pro football, basketball.
Mhm. Mhm.
That came out of the same school that I did. So it's not like it was the school. It was me.
Okay.
You know, I was more worried about having a girlfriend than
Mhm.
learning how to read. I was more concerned with being outside of school than learning about science or math or history. You know, no, it's not the school's fault. It's not the
Okay.
professional's fault.
Okay.
That was on me. Had I would have went to school and had the focus of wanting to study, of wanting to read, of wanting to learn certain things, I would have graduated. If I'd have tried as hard as far as staying in school than I was doing the things that was getting me out of school,
Mhm.
I would have made a tremendous difference. I'm never one to let my faults fall into somebody else's lap.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's good to hear. I just have some, I have some concerns about the education system and that we don't pay the kind of attention to kids that we need to, as far as education is concerned. So that's why I said that. And you said earlier that the programs in prison and your ability, them being offered, is what made you be able to take them. So now you're absolutely right. Programs are not offered. Ever since the murders at Anamosa, programs have pretty much gone away. I mean, a few are coming back, but nothing like it was. Nothing like it was. And I agree with you. It is. It's it's a darn shame. It's a darn shame because it's warehousing to a degree. And some of the prisons are worse than others in Iowa. I mean, some of the prisons are better than others. Some prisons offer more than others.
And that's facts.
Yep.
I did 14 and a half years in Iowa State Penitentiary in Fort Madison, Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
14 and a half years.
Mm-hmm.
Then I did a year in John Bennett right outside the walls, which was like a minimum medium security. Then I
Mm-hmm.
went to Newton for a couple of years. Then I went to Corinda, and they called this when you go from prison to prison like that, they call it a gradual release because I
Mm-hmm.
had a serious crime.
Right.
They do that with everybody that's
Mm-hmm.
has a
Yes.
long time. And then
Yes.
my final step was Rockwell. Unbelievable. I
Rockwell
couldn't
still
believe
is the final step. Rockwell is like a camp.
I couldn't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
It was like I was lost in time.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I got off the bus at Rockwell, there was a tree. I hugged the tree.
Yeah,
It's silly,
exactly.
but yeah, I mean, it's like a tree. Seriously,
A real tree.
a dog, a cat,
Uh-huh. Yep.
computers.
And
Like,
it's beautiful. The campus, I mean, the campus at Rockwell is beautiful. It is.
not only that, if you can't get educated in Rockwell and come out a better human being, you just don't want to do nothing. You
Mm-hmm.
just want a place to sleep and somewhere to eat, and to continue to get on societies and whoever loves you nerves. There's they don't just send you in prison to become a worse person. I see people that do it, but that's their choice. I don't want to be that person. I'm not speaking bad about people that, don't get the message, but I never wanted to be that person.
Mm-hmm.
I realized that I have a victim. To me, my victim would never be forgotten.
Right.
I live my life every single day, knowing that I have a victim.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want my victims passing to be in vain.
Right.
I'm sorry that that happened the way that it happened, but I know in my heart, I have stopped other people from doing the same thing that I did, taking somebody's
Mm-hmm.
life just by simply talking to them and
Mm-hmm.
explaining to them, if you do this, man, this is what's going to happen. Here's a picture of me when I was in prison and I saw him. I've been through it.
Mm-hmm.
He bought a butcher knife to work. I was what are we cutting that you need a knife like that? What's going on? I'm getting ready to kill this supervisor, man. I'm tired of him disrespecting me and this and that. And I heard the disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
Now in prison, if a guy got a knife, he's not going to tell you that he's going to go and do something. It just gets done. But I
Mm-hmm.
had young individuals, a few of them. One had a gun, he was going to shoot up the place. I talked to him. He'll tell you that now. Guy was gonna stab the supervisor. I talked to him. Hey man, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. If you stab that man, you going to prison. Didn't you just say you had a daughter 6 months ago? You
You
better
won't
hope your
see her.
daughter and her mother sticks around.
Mm-hmm.
I said, but what time is it now? 9 o'clock? You'll be on the 12 o'clock news, 6 o'clock news, and probably some news after that. And you'll be in a bathroom. every day for hours. He said, a bathroom? I said, yeah, come in the office, sit in there. Your life would be like that, bro. Just ask for a layoff, quit, go back to your union hall and ask them to put you back on the list. I'd rather see you go and leave than to sit here. And he said he was going to stab the man 48 times. I see the way Iowa is, you could get a count of second degree, you can get a count of attempted murder 48 times if he don't pass.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I said, I know, because in my case, one individual passed, but I took a deal of second degree murder and attempted murder on that individual. And people
Mm-hmm.
say, wow, how can they do that? That's double jeopardy. Call it what it is. Guess
Mm-hmm.
what? I'm blessed.
Yeah. And you're sitting here today. That's right.
And I try to use my voice as a motivating tool
Mm-hmm.
where others can hear the just the realness of what a person goes through, not
Mm-hmm.
some shenanigans or made up stuff. You know the real.
The
People say,
reality.
man, it's going to be hard, to get out and do what you're expecting to do and do this and that. I said, man, it can be done. I'm gonna get a house. I'm gonna give me a good job and all of that, and have that.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And it
no, I
is
never
hard,
want.
but life is hard. Life is hard, and it's doable. I mean, we all have our stories, and life is hard, but it's doable. It's you just put
Yes,
one foot in front of the other. And my sponsor used to say to me, "Put one foot in front of the other and drink a lot of water."
I,
Turned out to be
I'll
good advice.
I'll say this. My key to success was this. I was motivated to get a job, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't one to chase the females and all of that and not being what I'm supposed to be. None of that. I
Mm-hmm.
have seen individuals like, when I was in the work release, I'll come in from because I worked two jobs. I worked at a
Mm-hmm.
grocery store and I worked at a restaurant. That was my life,
Mm-hmm.
for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't, yeah, I seen women or whatever, but I was like, hey, it's just, it is what it is. I'm nothing serious, but I'm not going to be chasing. I got to go to work because some women don't want you to work all the time. They want to see you,
Mm-hmm.
and I went through that. But I think guys just sit around on the phone, on the dating app, looking for women.
Mm-hmm.
Man, look for an application, look for a job.
Look for a
You know what
job.
I'm saying? Yeah. Then when it comes time, no bragging facts. When it comes time for me to lead the work release, man, I've been here on 6 months to a year, man. How they letting you go? Because I don't sit on the phone looking for females. I have a
Mm-hmm.
job. I have a place.
Mm-hmm.
I refuse to live in an apartment because an apartment is like a prison cell. You can hear everything going on the side of you, on the top of you, and maybe
Mm-hmm.
on the bottom. I don't want to live like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been fortunate enough to pick up the knowledge and the necessary things to get me where I need to be because nobody gave me nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing. Nobody, you know, did nothing for me. And I didn't call
You
anybody,
didn't
hey,
lean into it.
I'm
Yeah.
out. I need this, I need that. The world didn't owe me anything. I owe the world.
Well, and you built yourself. You built yourself.
Yeah.
I assume that you believe with the help of God. I don't know that,
Yes.
but
Yes. I
I
wouldn't be here without
know,
without
yeah,
the help
I
of
believe.
God.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's not on me. It's not all on me. Like I
Hmm.
said, I'm blessed. That's what I mean by God,
Hmm.
the help of God.
Right.
I'm truly blessed.
Yes.
And I'm no better than anybody. I don't see myself as, better than anybody, or I don't see myself as all of that or nothing like that. I see myself as somebody who's been educated and awoke. I'm awake
Yes.
now.
Yes. Yes.
you
and you've
know.
turned it around and made a success for yourself and helped other people. And it
You
sounds
know
like
how,
that's what you think we're here for, is to be the best person we can and help people along the way.
yes,
Mhm.
that's what, you know, that's
Mhm.
that's what I think, the core of life
Yeah.
is
That's
helping others, extending your hand.
Mhm.
You know, there's somewhere in the Bible that says, if a stranger comes knocking at your door, let them in the house and feed them.
Mhm.
Today, you can't do that because there's so many drugs and people
Right,
on
you know,
alcohol. It's
yeah,
frightening.
yeah. You have to be very careful who you let in your door or in your car.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So, you got to be self guarded too. So that perpetrator don't become a victim because you're going to protect yourself,
You have to. Yes.
you know, and in some cases, the perpetrator did become the victim,
Yes.
but through the cloud of somebody losing a life, people not trying to see that, oh well, that person was on the move before that person took action.
Exactly.
Then
Exactly.
that person is in prison, for a long extended stay, probably past their life.
Mhm.
When a person dies in prison, they still shackle them, they still put handcuffs on them.
No, I didn't know that.
I see it. I've seen it many times. I couldn't understand it.
Oh my gosh.
They could be victims, well, not victims, but they could have hung themselves, got stabbed,
Oh, that's horrifying.
and they will put handcuffs and shackles on their body and take them out of prison.
Oh,
Yes.
that's horrible,
Don't know if they still do it now, but yes, I
but
I,
they
I
do.
seen that. I seen it happen to somebody that I was, kind of friends with,
Hmm. No,
and
I
it
didn't.
kind of made me mad. But I told myself I'm not in the position to be boisterous or get mad about this. I need to
Right,
mind my business.
right, right, right,
You know,
right. Yeah, there's no point in you getting in trouble over something that you have no control over. Yes, for sure. But
and I
oh
want people
my
to
gosh.
understand. I want people to understand this too. When a person goes to prison or gets punished for a violent act,
Mm-hmm.
that violent act usually comes from having anger issues.
Mm-hmm.
Just because a person does 20, 30 years, right, doesn't mean that those cravings don't come back up. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just like an alcoholic person,
Right.
just because they go to treatment doesn't mean that their drinking don't, they don't have
They
those
don't have a
urges.
craving. Yeah.
Thank
You
you.
have to manage them.
Or
You have
a
to learn how
person
to manage
who,
it. Yes.
yes, person who does drugs, just
Mm-hmm.
because they go to treatment doesn't mean they don't have those cravings. The
Mm-hmm.
same thing goes for a person that has that angry drive,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But what I tell myself, if somebody, if I feel like somebody disrespected me, or I know they disrespected me, or they're treating me a certain type of way, what I tell
Mm-hmm.
myself is Dante. And I learned this from here, from this. I still tell myself today what I learned from this.
Mm-hmm.
Each and every individual on this earth has the right to be angry.
Mm-hmm.
You have a right to be pissed, but you do not have a right to be cruel to anybody in
Yes.
your actions, your
Yes.
words, or your deeds.
Yes. Your right
And I'm
stop where
proud
the
of
other
it.
person's nose starts. Yes.
And I'm
Yes.
very proud of being able to think like that. Because it was a time in my life where I put these up before I would say anything.
Mm-hmm.
But now I fight for a better cause. And it's
Yes.
not because I'm older. I started the cure when I was young. I was 18 years old. So by the time I was 25 years old, My wheels were spinning on a positive level.
Mhm.
I just kept growing and growing and growing. And I believe some of the prison staff seen that.
Mhm. It sounds like it. It sounds like it, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. So, yes, you can be very proud of yourself and proud and thankful and grateful that you have the brain that you have and the ambition that you have. I mean, it's wonderful to see. It's wonderful to
And
see.
and please understand this. There's other individuals that's just like Dante
Exactly.
that went
Exactly.
through child abuse, that was
Exactly.
kicked out of home,
That's right.
that was kicked out of school, that
Mhm.
was made fun of.
Mhm.
You know, people don't care about you. There's a lot of us, but we also can get around the right individuals and change our thinking.
Right.
If you
Right.
don't change a person's thinking, you're never going to change their action. You can keep punishing them and punishing them and punishing them. But if you don't change their belief, you're going to just have the same person, stubborn. How many older people you know that's just stubborn, that don't want to change, that don't want to update, don't want to do nothing?
Uh-huh.
But then when you finally show them and teach them, like, oh wow, I'm so glad I did this. Oh, it's a
If
turning
they
point.
see it, if they see it. I mean, a person you're responsible for what you tell people and what you offer people. They're responsible for what they do with it.
Exactly.
So I mean, I think it was Brian Stevenson that said, we don't owe people a hand out, but we do owe
Mhm.
people a hand up.
Hand up. I
Yeah.
never look for a handout.
Yeah.
You know, I could have went and applied for my mom told me to do this and I refused it.
Hmm.
She asked me to do it for years before I got out. And I told my own mother, I said, if you ever in your life talk to me about that program again, I will never speak to you ever again in life. And that was SSI.
Yeah.
She
Disability.
told me that I could get that because
Hmm.
all the time I said no. I said, what I look like waiting on one check when these people are telling me that I can get two checks, I can get paid every 2 weeks so I can find a job that pays me 4 checks a month. No, absolutely not. No, that hurt me. But I understood
Hmm.
my mom's side of things because
Concern
she
for
was
you.
like, yeah, she was like, when you get out, you get a job, somebody do something to you, this and that. I don't want you to get mad and,
Mm.
go back to prison. I said, Mom, listen, I'm past getting mad. You don't have to worry about that. Just allow me to show you that a person can really be rehabilitated.
Yes. And
Let me
mature.
show you it works. Well, I
Yeah.
ain't seen it yet. You got brother and cousins, they go in and out. Well, they're not me. I'm not them,
Hmm.
you know. So
Yes.
Governor Terry Bradstead got on the news back in 1989 and he spoke about my case.
Ah.
And he said this. I was going to show this individual, this young man, we're going to make an example out of him. And somebody else stood up and said, "Wait a minute, we know it was a fight. We don't know what happened. We're gonna make an example out of that young man." That's what I was gonna do. Here's your example:
Yes.
positive and productive citizen who wishes to work hard, who wishes to maintain my dignity out here
Hmm.
instead of inside a prison, who is honest. I'm willing to help whoever needs it as long as it's a righteous endeavor. I'm not going to help nobody rob anything. Never done that. I'm not going to sell drugs. Never done that. I'm not going to do anything outside of what my parole stipulation said. And I'm off parole, but I still keep them.
So,
And it
yeah.
works for me. It
Mhm.
works,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know. So this is the example of what you get when you give a young person a plea bargain
Mhm.
and you allow them to learn and you offer them classes
Mhm.
and you don't talk
And
down.
that's what the prisons ought to go back to doing, is actually offering programs that help people, and I believe that's what we ought to be doing in school also. I think we ought to be teaching the same kinds of things that you have certifications for need to be taught starting in elementary school, I believe. I
That's
believe.
what I was saying too. I was like when you got kids, eh, if victim impact was taught
Right,
in schools, you wouldn't have kids wanting to go out and steal other people's stuff. You know, I didn't know like if I seen a wallet or something, somebody dropped a wallet back in the day or something. I was young. Ooh, that's mine. I'm gonna take the money.
right,
I didn't know that that money was going towards a car payment or for a house.
right,
None of
right.
that. But once that's put on your brain, like I ain't gonna do that because you know they got stuff they need to take care of. You just
Mhm.
don't want to do that type of stuff, unless you just don't care.
Right. But kids ought to have the information and the education to know that choice, to
Yeah,
actually experience that choice. And instead of, I mean, in addition to focusing on math and English and geography and history, we also need to focus on life skills like anger
right.
management.
Thank you.
And yes, I mean, we need to do that because that's the kind of education, in my opinion, that's the kind of education that turns children into adults. You have to learn
Life
that. You can be
skills.
the
That
smartest person in the world about geography and history and not know how to hit the floor with your hat when it comes to finances or how to get along with people or how to manage anger. So, yeah,
exactly.
yes, I believe that and that's what I was saying when I said the school system is the first place that failed you because we don't teach that. I wasn't saying that the people who teach failed you. I was saying that what is offered in the school system is like half the picture of what kids need. Kids need to
Hmm.
learn anger management, life skills,
Yeah,
honesty, victim impact, how their behavior affects others. I mean, they need to actually be taught that. And some kids don't have the opportunity to learn that at home for a variety of reasons.
I want to say something about this victim impact class.
Okay.
When I seen hard nosed criminals that I know for a fact hard nosed don't care about nothing
Mhm.
take that class and they're sitting there crying and breaking down,
Mhm. Then you know. That's
I
right.
said, "Whoa!"
Mhm.
Now, if a hard grinding criminal can hear somebody's story and go through that and have empathy, what you think that's going to do to a kid?
Exactly.
We
Exactly.
used to talk to kids through our program, and the institution took it out because kids would cry, and they
Well,
said, "Well, you guys are trying to make the kids you guys are trying to make the kids feel sorry for you." And I said,
no,
"You really?" I said,
no,
"So you guys really think that?
no.
Honestly, you really think that us telling our stories that we want kids to feel sorry for us? So you're going to take it out for that?" I said, "Shame on you." I said,
Mhm.
That's not what's happening here." When we got uh when I got 30 letters saying, "Hey," or other guys get 30 or 40 letters saying, "Hey, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be in college playing football right now. Check me out on TV.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm working a job, or I'm going to a construction site to get a job." How's it? But hey, I let them have that, you know, and some of the kids, the few kids that didn't get it and came inside the institution that finally made their way in there.
Mhm.
"Hey, Dante, remember me?" "Yep, it's not good seeing you here. Let this be the last time you say anything to me." And it's like that. You were
Mhm.
told before you even got here. I'm not being mean, but I'm not going to sit here and act like, I care about you.
Good to
You didn't even
see
care
you.
about yourself.
Yeah.
You know, then it's like, oh, well, I thought we was going to be cool. No, you better hope you survive out of here, you know, and not just living, but mentally too.
Mentally, yeah, because that's the battle.
Yes,
Everybody that I've
that's
talked to who's been in prison says that that is really the battleground, is your own sanity.
it is. And it could be taken just sitting there in that cell with
Mhm,
nothing. You could just have a radio. I know from experience.
mhm.
You know, turning 21 is supposed to be one of the best times a human being is supposed to have in their life, turning 21, right? Or am I
In a
wrong?
cell is not a party.
Okay, so imagine an individual in a cell wake up, and I ain't looking for nobody to feel sorry for me. I'm just giving you the real
Mhm,
reality.
mhm,
Wake up, today's my 21 birthday. All the things I'm missing out of,
mhm.
my kids,
Exactly.
the parties, to have my own car. My mind flipped,
Mhm,
and it flipped in the way that I was afraid. And I had to get down on my hands and knees and I asked God, if you will please help me not to lose my mind where I
mhm,
can get out and I can make my mother proud. I don't care who else is proud of me. I just want to make my mom proud. Just
mhm,
help me through this and I'll be a better person. I'll help people with whatever I learn out of here. But please do not let me lose my mind.
mhm.
Had I not done that, I don't know who I'd be today.
Right.
On my 21st birthday, and I held on to the bars and I tried to break the bars to see if I could even, in my childish
Open.
thoughts.
Right.
And once
But
I seen those bars wasn't going to budge,
mhm. Yes.
it's, you know, but life is truly what we make it
Mhm. Every day. Every day.
every
What we
day.
do today dictates our future tomorrow. That's for sure.
And I'm a quick finder of red flags. If I see a red flag, oh, nope. I have
Yep.
no problem cutting people off.
Mhm.
You're not gonna take me down that mess. No.
No. No more. Yes.
So
Well, yes. Well, once again, congratulations. And thank you very much. Very, very much. I really appreciate you doing this, as you know.
anytime.
And I think that your story will make an impact on people and be very useful and helpful for those people who listen. I think it'll once again it'll change lives, and you can be
So
proud of
you know
them.
what you know what my dream is or
What you
was. I'm kind of like letting it go now, but I was hoping to during my time of being released, I was hoping to get a building, have a restaurant, and I went to talk to some people, but nothing ever happened. KO KO was one of the people, but I wanted to get a restaurant, me and my wife. And I wanted to take kids out of Eldora, have a couple of staff come with them, take
Mhm.
kids out of Eldora. You know, they're locked in there,
Right.
bring them to the restaurant. We teach them how to clean, how to cook, how to, you know, count money,
Right.
give them some skills. Not
Right.
only that, the whatever wage they worked for those hours,
Mhm.
put that in an account. Don't send them back home. Send them to a job. Send them to a job corps or something. Send them
Right.
somewhere outside
Right.
of where they live. If I would have went back to Kentucky and not stayed here, Iowa wasn't the problem. I was only here 2 weeks.
Okay.
But had I would have went back to Kentucky
Um,
or New Jersey or somewhere like that around my family, I would have been successful. But I know I would have had some potholes too.
mhm.
You know, I know that. So I stayed here. I have no family here other than my wife. and
And
she
the
and I,
family that you have made, and the family that you
yes,
have created,
yes,
the support
exactly,
family that you've made. Yes.
exactly. But as far as like having support or help,
Right.
I had to do everything on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I had to figure out everything on my own. From being 18 to in my 40s,
Yep.
I had to figure it out.
Yep.
And that's the whole thing, figuring it out. Most
Mm-hmm.
people don't want to hear from people that, oh, I think this what happens in prison, or I believe this happens in prison. People like me, when they hear it and I have the proof, it's like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
whoa. Like, yeah, you looking at somebody that did all of that time like that.
Yes.
Well, I wouldn't be able to tell that. Well, how can you tell that somebody did 23 years in prison then? People say that to me all the time. I never thought that. Nuh-uh. You did. Like, yeah,
Yep.
learn,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
You
So,
really have to claim your life and take it in the right direction.
yes.
So,
Yeah.
so thank you very much. I really appreciate you coming on. And I will put this up this afternoon, so it'll be on YouTube, and you'll be able to watch yourself if you want to, and and the word will be out. So so
Alrighty.
once again, yes, once again, I'm Sue Hutchins, and this is Iowa Prison Perspectives. And I would love to hear from you, the public, what you think and how you feel about what I'm doing here. You can reach me at Iowa Prison Perspectives at gmail.com, and that's IA Prison Perspectives at gmail.com. And I will say goodbye for now, and I will see you in the next week or so. Thank you very much for listening, and please let me know your thoughts. Bye for now.